Hey guys, new video here. It has been one stream since the patch hit, and the patch is pretty amazing. Brooch is worked out, and so the big question I get is like, is it worth running this after the patch? And I have done some runs. I've taken out my excellence next, which you'll see on the screen here. I have my dump tabs. I'll pull up right here. And a TLDR, if you don't want to watch this video, maybe this video will end up being longer. Then the answer is actually yes. Surprisingly, yes. Even at the current fractured fossil prices, with two criteria. Number one, that you enjoy doing it, because if you don't enjoy doing it, you're not gonna be doing it too long, because it's gonna be super boring. And number two, if you have your rogues equipped and you have your trinket. Okay, I have a 4% trinket. I get this question a lot about my rogue gear, so I'm just going to go ahead and show you what I have and what I'll recommend the minimum amount of rogue gear would be for making it get kind of like the results that I've gotten. And remember, I've done this test without the brooches working 3 different times already, right? So I kind of have like a baseline of like, this isn't just like some like random RNG, like what could be RNG, what couldn't be, whatever. It's kind of like consistent and exactly what I expected from the brooches if they worked correctly, and thankfully they weren't bugged. So I'm just going to show you my karst, and the reason for that is because every single of my rogues is geared exactly the same on 2 pieces. They're geared the same way on their brooch, and they're geared the same way on their cloak. And so for me, I thought on the brooch, all you gotta have is that bottom line, right? It's of the horde, 15% chance, just divide it to 15% if you get a tier 1 roll to duplicate contained currency. And that's really the only thing that matters. Quantity and rarity don't matter because the mobs don't really drop anything at all, even with every single one of my rogues having almost the same trinket. So those 2 lines, just you might as well not even have them. And then a chance to duplicate other things. I mean, depending on which blueprint you choose to run, that could have a little bit of benefit, but it does not matter. You only need that last line. For the cloaks, all of my rogues are also the same. They have the absolutely mandatory one is the last line. Again, 12% chance to reduce the raising of alert level from opening chests. That's all I really care about, because it gives the benefit, like no matter what you're doing, contracts, blueprints, and it's just like a really nice way to be able to open all the chests in any of the popular blueprints that people are running. You'll never miss a currency chest running with at least this. Okay, another thing I put on all my other rogues is movement speed, because I love movement speed, right? Even like, when you get that watcher's eye with the grace move, 15% move speed, it feels so good, right? So imagine having this and maybe like 3 of them. So for me, I like movement speed, but it has nothing to do with the loot, the quantity. Okay, it has nothing to do with anything besides the feel of it. If you're going to do something else, I would say another role that you could think about trying to get or buy from the market is maybe like chance not to trigger lockdown, right? Because like maybe you can chain that together, and when you see like when you go to the end of a reward room, you see like a 7C, 8C, maybe you can get 2 of those, right? Or you can like hold off lockdown a tiny bit longer some of the time, but it's unreliable. So I like to go for things that are always felt and always useful every single moment of the heisting experience. Okay, so that is it for the gear. As for jobs, I would say this one, I guess if you want to go for +1 level of all jobs, that's pretty good. It allows you to slot in extra masters in better positions. But if you don't have that, it's not really a big deal. We played a lot of time without this working, right? So it's totally fine. And a chance not to generate alert level on opening chests, not actually that important. It's kind of cool, but not that important. Once again, because when you are fracturing, we're talking about fractured blueprints for this video. Fractured blueprints, you always have all the currency chests open. There's never a situation where like you're like, ooh, if this procs, I'll be able to open it, and if not, I lose out on these chests. No, that's never going to happen, so you don't need to worry about that. Okay, but try to get +1 level of all jobs, because if you look right here, you get a little bit less. It makes it less stressful, I guess, because it makes this number bigger. Okay, so that's the rogues. Okay, let's get into the results. So how many did I run today? If you want to watch the VOD, it is saved on my Twitch channel, and I played non-copyright music today on the stream, so none of the VOD should be muted if you want to go through all of it. So I ran 13 blueprints. Which ones did I run? Well, 10 of the ones that I ran were the very popular. This one's not like mine. I just got it from someone else, and it's been duplicated all around the league. Where is it here? I'm just going to show you. It is the 17 currency blueprint, right? So if you see me push my item show hotkey right here, look at that, 17 currencies, right? Everyone has this one. And then there's like a couple like 15 noters. There's a 13 noter people like, but I don't like, in my honest opinion, I don't think those are good, because I do think there's some kind of like loot seed thing going on where the more monsters a map can possibly spawn, for example, tunnels and repository, These maps have so many goddamn monsters spawning afterwards that I think there's like some kind of like weighting put into them instead of the loot chest. Like I found like the 17 node to be ultimately my favorite one. But if you are getting better results on the other ones, please do those and don't listen to my preferences, right? But I just like this one the best, and I think it is truly quantitatively the best. So, and yes, I have tested every one of the other ones, unless there's a new one that came out today or something, right? So I ran this one, that was 10 of them out of the 13. And then out of the 3, I ran this one. This is, I like this one because, let me just show you real quick, this one. And the reason I really like this one is because the layout is fantastic. Everything is super short. It's non-legacy, right? So, and it rolled really well on the non-legacy, meaning that the layouts are straightforward. There's no annoying like traps or like doors. Everything's really close together and very fast to the roll room and back out. Also, added benefit, very fun, because if you have a headhunter, there are so many rares in here. Like they just spawn in. People use like this and tunnels maps to farm XP. I heard you can get like way more than you get in like a Beyonded map if you play it correctly. And some, I haven't tested myself, so don't quote me on that, but it is nuts how many monsters. If I were to compare the monsters in this one to the one that I actually enjoy running more like from a loot standpoint, I would say that the compared to the Underbelly one, right, compared to this Underbelly one, the repository one is I don't know, at least 10 times more monsters. At least. It's crazy. So if you like fighting monsters and getting XP, I guess this one's better, but I really think that this one has less loot. And I'm not even saying that because it has 15 rooms of chests instead of 17. No, if they were both equal for some reason, I'd say that this one on average has less returns, okay? You can get lucky on Prime or Grading Lens. This one is unusual gem rewards, right? So I ran those for 3, and then the 10, the one I ran for 10, the Underbelly, has trinkets and currency, okay? So that is my split. And the only reason I ran this one, I wouldn't have run this one if I was like just trying to pop off on the exalts, is because just for a little bit of variety. It's kind of fun. It's kind of cute to like, and it got my character level 100. So that's pretty cool. So overall, the results, and there's a lot that goes into this, right? A lot that was taken out. So these exalts, what are they? The 72 quantity, where do those come from? Because I did a lot of split services. I did a lot of, I did one big sale of a trinket I found in there. I've taken those out. These exalts, these 72, are pure drops in the blueprints and formed from exalted shards when they merge together in the dump tab. If I type in currency here, you can see how I've set up my dump tabs at the beginning here. So most of it's currency, and you know, when you get a ton of exalted shards, so they'll merge together all the time and become pure exalts. So I counted those in these results as well. So 72 pretty much pure drops in one day. That is like, if you look at any other league, or think if you were to tell your past self that you'd be dropping like 70, you know, previously in our test when we ran when I ran like 30, I ran 33 blueprints last time and I got 102 exalts. So this is actually better, right? Because I only ran 13. So if I multiply that by like 2 point something, I'm going to end up with like 150, 200 exalts, right? It's really weird. So, and that's just proof of the brooch is kind of working. So we got the 72 pure exalts and 1000 C. At the current prices, C are 40 C to 1 exalt, which means that I have 25 pure exalts along with this. So if we ignore everything else here, ancient orbs, all the other currencies that you could convert into exalts, then we are looking at 25 plus 72. That is 97 pure exalts without counting anything else. Okay, literally nothing else. And you only pay, like imagine your loot filter had 2 things. Okay, no, 3 things: exalt shard, exalt, and C, and that's it. That would be your earnings, right? 72 plus 25. So 97 exalts. Wow, that is insane, right? And then if you take that 97, how much does it cost to run? Well, I'm glad you asked, because I have the PoE trade pulled up here, and these fossils are 4.1 exalts. Okay, let's say you need a couple of the cheaper fossils in order to take off cannot regen and reflect Ellie. For me, I use corroded to make sure that reflect Ellie and minus max res never spawns. So that's let's just say that's 7C. The dense fossil that gets rid of cannot regen, that's 1C. So that's 8C right there. Maybe a Rosonder is 1C and alchemical, and so that would be, let's just count it at 0.2, right? Just to be generous. So we're gonna add 0.2 to the 4.1. So every one of these, given that you have like the base blueprint, is 4.3 exalts to run. So 4 times 13 run today, that is 52 exalts. 52 exalts plus the 13 times the 0.2, which is 2.6. 2.6 plus like 52, so like let's just say like 55. So I ran 55 exalts of basically materials, right? So I'm starting in the whole 55 exalts. Once again, these were conservative estimates, right? And I made still 40 something results over the course of like 8-9 hours, right, of gameplay. And once again, I'm streaming, so I'm very inefficient, but it's more like thinking about it in terms of 40, let's just say 40 results over the course of 13 blueprints. Okay, so then that becomes better because that's 3 exalts made per blueprint, and then you are only held back by your clicking speed. How fast can you loot these currencies off the ground? If you have like RSI or whatever, be very careful because a lot of clicking. And that's pretty damn good profit. That is actually ridiculously good. And now for the crazy part, okay? Let's take a look at our stash tabs. Once again, I've put in currency, and the reason I've done this is to truly highlight things that are considered currency. The great thing about the currency blueprints is that, you know, when you map or you do whatever content, most of your tab is like just straight garbage, right? Like you might have like 6 sockets, you might have like some things I'll never sell. But if you look at this, right, you can like pause this video for a second to take a look at this tab, right? You can take a look at this tab right here. I have not removed like anything from here really, because I had a separate tab for like the sales and stuff. Look at this, right? It's like I might remove like some trash uniques, like I had like a tinker skin and maybe some kind of like bow or something right here, but I just like deleted those. But yeah, look at the currency, and this is all liquid. These little idols are for Talina, and each one of these is like at least 1C, right? Because an exalt is like 13,000 coins right now, and each one of these is 400 coins. So yeah, pretty nuts, right? So this is to show that no matter what you do, you're going to be able to convert back into exalts, back into C, whatever the heck you want, and it is extremely liquid. You're not having to really trade things. I mean, if you do want to trade things, let's take a look. Delirium. Okay, you might have to trade. You can take out the maps, obviously. We're probably not selling maps at this time. But, oh, that's actually a delirious one. But look at this. Oh, that's a delirious map too. So like you might have to sell these delirium orbs, but those, if you have any more than like 1 or 2, they sell for more in bulk, right? So pretty good prices there. And yeah, that's pretty cool, right? Because like if I highlight tier, you know, these are all like high tier maps pretty much. There's some blighted maps in there. There's some beachheads in there that are like 7C. So this is a pretty fair test, and it's exactly what I expected, once again, because I've done this test so many times. Let's add in the crazy stuff. So my results are like, you will probably get 1 trinket, meaning a 2, 3, or 4%, probably not 4%, but you'll get a regal to exalt trinket. Probably 1 trinket every like 40 wings is pretty fair, meaning like 1 every 10 blueprints that you run, you'll probably get a trinket. And that boosts it up significantly, right? So in my first test, I got 2. My second test, I got 2 trinkets. My third test, I got 4 trinkets. And then this test, I only got 1 trinket. So, but the 1 trinket was a 3%er that sold for 29 exalts immediately. I actually like lowered the price because I wanted to sell it faster because it was a 3% with 3 other decent rolls. So, with that in there, that's another 29 exalts, right? And then if you look here, if I add in all the other stuff that I could possibly convert over to exalts, right? And you look at the C value, then we're looking at way more exalts. And I'm not going to go into that because let's say there's some purists out there like, you know, I don't want to convert my fusings for like 180 to 1. I don't want to convert my, you know, like this or that, right? Let's not count like chizos or like civil sex and stuff like that. But it is, yeah, it is pretty good. And usually I tell people, the reason on stream I tell people it's not really worth it, I joke around about it, is because really it isn't worth, because most people won't be able to weather the unlucky streak. So usually if I get an unlucky streak, what does that mean? It means I've gone probably around 3. I don't think I've ever gone more than 3 blueprints without an exalt. Today our best one was the one with the trinket, the 29 exalt trinket. I dropped 8 pure exalts in that one, right? Yeah, well, I don't even know, that wasn't even like counting the shards. So you know, you'll have lucky streaks, you have bad streaks where you think your trinket's not working, or you think that they nerfed it or shadow nerfed it or whatever. It's pretty hilarious. But the reason I don't recommend this, like is it worth running from a currency standpoint, like per blueprint? Absolutely, right? Given once again you have the trinket and you have the and you have the rogues set up. But most people won't have that because I've split the beast for people, or I split the blueprint with beasts for people who didn't know how to like swirly to get to teleport to you to do the trade. I've done it for people who are like level 70 and you're like, what the hell? I've done it for people who like who had to ask how to assign rogues to like the different wings, or like if they could do this or that. People who didn't know how to use the fractured fossil, who didn't know how to use Fenable Plague Ration to split themselves later. And these things make me really question the average person that sees this data and goes, holy shit, you make at least 3 exalts, right? At the minimum. Maybe you make like, if we take everything combined, maybe you make like 5 exalts per, right? And then if you can do 3 per hour, you know, you make 50 exalts an hour. Holy shit, dude, right? Like all these things, like would like a person would actually think that. But then let's say you don't have your brooches set up. Let's say you don't have your rogues fully equipped. Maybe you I even have like this map where I mapped out where every single small chest with currency is inside the very popular blueprint for people. But if you can't follow that, or like you don't remember where they're, you're accidentally clicking other chests, or you're accidentally like messing up your alert level with like the bad chests, then you're gonna be completely screwed and you will not make that, right? Maybe even something as small as not clicking the small chest at GFK, because I've gotten a lot of results from those, or even something as small as not clicking the 2 safes that are at the end of every single underbelly. Something as small as that could mess you up a little bit and swing you a certain way. So you kind of have to have everything together and know what you're doing and kind of like prepare for the long term and be able to weather the string of bad luck. So let's say you're a player that let's say you have 12 exalts, okay, and some spare change. You buy 3 of these and you go 3 without a single exalt, right? That would feel really bad and you'd pretty much lose money. And then you wouldn't be able to buy the next fossils, right? So then what then? So it's really only for someone that's like, it's like, you know, you have your character geared up and you really can't die either. If there's any chance of you dying with the loot at the end, that's really bad, right? Because then you could lose something huge, especially since like it's very regular to get these trinkets. And then also, even if you don't die, even if you want to back out and go back in to lock things in, that's a huge waste of time and your currency per hour goes way down. So everything considered, it's not worth it for your average player to do this, but profit wise, yes, it is worth it if everything is done correctly, so to speak. So that is my data. Another thing that I'm going to search here is my regals, okay? So remember, 72 raw exalts pretty much dropped, right? And lots of those are shards, so we don't know. But if you look here, I have 841 regals. Obviously, you need to add the exalts dropped to the regals to get the full count. But let's just say that we have 840 regals. I'm going to pull out the calculator on my phone, and we have, let's take a look. Like, let's just say you dropped that many, like naturally, right? So if you did 840 times 0.04, which is my trinket, 33.6 at this point. It would be a little bit higher, right? Because remember, you have to add the exalts that you dropped that were converted into this number. So 33, let's say 34 of my exalts came directly from the trinket. What does that mean? 34 exalts is about 8. It's about 8 runs. So 8 out of my 13 blueprints were completely paid for by my trinket. Okay, let's say you have 2%, right? So pretty easy math. You can just divide it in half, right? Or you can do 0.02 times the 840, and then you'd have like, you know, let's just say like 16 or 17. So the 17, how much does that cover? Well, the 17 covers about 4 of the runs, right? And then the other 8, you're like kind of like buying the fossils and stuff for yourself. So just keep that in mind. I'd say with 2%, it's not really that big a deal, because if you look at my numbers here and you take out the 4 to 2%, right? Trinket difference, it's still, yes, you will, if you have everything else correct, if you at least have the trinket, you will make a lot of money profit wise. Okay, so I get asked a lot, I only have the 2% trinket, I only have 3% trinket, is it worth? Yes, 2% trinket, 3% trinket, 4% trinket, doesn't matter. It's gonna be insane. You just have to have everything. If you ever have a question about like, does this master go here? Can I like do this to get this master here? How do I split it? How do I fracture it? Which chests do I click? Like, which ones should I avoid? Don't do it, because you're gonna like mess something up. It's really, really annoying. I have a video with a full run through of how you're supposed to run it, but that's like for like finding the small chests and stuff. So yeah, so that's the video. And Yeah, it's really fun. This patch is crazy. If you guys don't know how it works, the brooches got fixed, so it's like 45% more currency from everywhere. The safes at the end, it works on that. Harbinger chest, it works on that. Currency chest, obviously works on that. Small currency chest works on that. Currency chests that aren't even currency chests, like armor chests that have fusings in them, and chromatics and jewelers, works on that because those are currency. It just works on like pretty much everything. On contracts, you're getting a 15%, which is still pretty good. So insane, actually insane. Insane. I don't know what they're doing, but it's like raining currency everywhere, and holy shit, it's a great league now. You can don't worry about the exalt price, because remember, if Chow's orb value increases relative to the exalt, and the exalt is only worth like 20C, doesn't matter, because when you pick up a C, you have a 5% of exalt, right? And then you can convert these into like mirrors or whatever, like whatever you want, ancient ores later on, whatever you find stable. And so it's not that big a deal. Who cares about the concept? Just play the game, get the monies, you build, play any build you want. If you have any questions, you can ask me on my Twitch stream. I'm going to be doing more of these like every single day probably for a while, because I bought how many do I have left? So I did 13 today, right? I have 83 fossils left, and beyond those 83 fractured fossils, I have these. These are the pre-split ones, and same with these. So I have about 24, like 30 pre-split blueprints already. So it's like 100 something more that I need to do. It's going to take a while. It's going to be pretty fun. Twitch.tv/Q__ if you guys want to check it out. And that's the video. Okay, I'll see you guys later. Okay, thanks for watching my video. Bye. Bye, guys. Bye.